I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next group. You guys can go ahead and get situated up here while I tell you a little bit more about them. So we'll be switching gears a little bit now and hearing more about how we can address difficult conversations, which I think is a really important topic. Plus, we'll hear some real stories from local residents who will share their experiences with cancer and how it has impacted their lives. The discussion is going to be led by Dr. Wirga. Yes, excellent. From the Todd Cancer Institute at Long Beach Medical Center. And why don't I let you introduce, so he's joined by a couple of folks that I want to mention here. So we have a married couple, Trish and Greg Russo. You guys want to? Great.
Hello.
We have a second married couple, Jennifer George and her husband, John Clark. Great, thank you guys. And we have a couple of friends, Rebecca Zomorodian and Melanie Mars. Is that right? Great. Okay, well with that, I'll leave it to you guys.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. That is always a great pleasure to be at metastatic breast cancer conferences that are organized by Common LA and now in Orange County. That is really great to be here, and that is a very important subject. And yes, I was introduced that we will be switching gears, but actually we will be expanding our gears, right? Because we were talking about nutrition, right? So we already eat. Why won't we eat healthy, right? We were talking about mindfulness and being aware. So we are already thinking. Why wouldn't be thinking in a healthier way, right? And by the way, I am a psychiatrist, but I specialize, as my patients introduce me, I specialize in normal people in abnormal situations. So I will not be putting any crazy thoughts in your minds. And now we were talking about food as medicine, mind as medicine, it's powerful. And my mentor, and really true pioneer of psychosocial oncology or psycho-oncology, mental and emotional aspects of cancer, Dr. Carl Simonton. He was a radiation oncologist, and in 1971 he started introducing and addressing emotional aspects of for all his cancer patients. So it was 1971, but 1973 he already required that the primary support person is going to be accompanying them in that process, because it was crucial for the quality of life of his patients. So we are talking about food as medicine, or healing, our mind as healer, but also let's our relationships be healing too, right? And sometimes you see, the cancer doesn't strike us at the most opportune moments. I have never heard it, and I've been working with cancer patients for over 30 years. So now, it strikes you, sometimes not when your relationships are at its height, right? Sometimes we need to heal our relationships before our relationships can heal us, right? Also, you see, the cancer is crisis. And you see, like in any crisis, the families get together and friends, and everybody jumps into helping everybody. But unlike other crises in our lives, cancer is a chronic crisis. Metastatic cancer is a chronic stress, and it is very hard to see its end, right? And sometimes when we think of the end, we don't think good thoughts, right? We don't think healing thoughts. So with that said, I think there are certain very important principles in relating in cancer. So So first, I'm going to, because we've been focusing on patients, and yes, and we need to focus on patients. But in order to improve our focus on patients, we want to look at the role of the support person. And in our program in Long Beach, which we call Beat the Odds, which is based on Carl Simonton's work, we have a special class for support people. And one of the first things that we ask our support people is to do a list of things that are important for them to nourish them, the joyful activities, vital activities, things that they do for fun, right? And then make a conscious decision which of those activities they will put aside. Because if we don't make this conscious decision, we start burning out. But when we make it as a conscious decision, what happens? Like, okay, I understand, right? Also, we ask our support people, and it applies, the problem is that the cancer patient is also a support person, right? So what applies to being a support person applies to everyone. So it is also important how we ask for things. One of the very important principles, and it is related to mindfulness, or I like to call awareness, is non-attachment to the outcome, right? So what does it mean? That means that I have to understand that I have influence, but I don't have control. Non-attachment, because attachment to outcome, it is sometimes easier to explain, is when I think it has to be this way, or I have clear idea how things should be, and I'm in significant distress if they are not that way. So this non-attachment to the outcome is very important. It is also important how we relate to each other, right? Because when we relate to each other, very often we have some outcome on our mind, right? And when we are not getting it, we are getting stressed out. Or when the conversation doesn't go ideally, we can have acute fit of idealism, as we call it in our program, as you remember. So that we are really upset. So for example, very simple thing, how we ask for something, how we request something, right? First of all, do you guys ask for something if you are not certain about hearing yes, or if you suspect that you are going to hear no? No. Do you ask for that? No. But that means that when you ask, you are already attached to that outcome. You are attached that you are going to hear yes as an answer. Right? You know what? The problem is that's going to lead to difficulties in communication. And so that is very important that we keep asking. When you want to something, ask, but be prepared to hear no, right? Or be prepared to hear not now, right? And when you hear no, say, when? Right? So that is very important. We have actually, with my psychosocial team, because I am the medical director of PsychoSocial Oncology, and with our psychosocial team, we are now doing a special training in, it is called 5 Secrets of Effective Communication, from David Burns. He's one of the cognitive behavioral therapists from Stanford. So because communication is very difficult, and it is not a new thing. Remember, there is no harder thing in life than relationships, and the closer the relationship, the harder it is. Second, George Bernard Shaw said something about communication, and I like it very much. Let me quote him. The greatest misconception about communication is that has ever happened. Okay, I mean, I'm now with my Polish accent, it may not always go well, so I will repeat myself. The greatest misconception about interpersonal communication is that it has ever happened. Okay, so more people got it, right? So yes, and actually, psychology, psychiatry has, until really the developments of team CBT. The CBT calls from not CBD, like, and I'm not against that. Don't have me right. That CBT is cognitive behavior therapy, right? And team is an acronym for testing. We want to test where the patient is. E is for empathy. A is for agenda setting, but in very gentle way, in patient-centered way. So actually, the patient is setting the agenda, not us. And not only that, we are making sure we are not moving any further to M, which is methods, until the patient is actually ready to engage in these methods. And then when we go through different methods of intervening, the principle is fail as fast as you can. So we have 50 different methods. So so the point is that we get to the method that works as quickly as possible. So it is really complicated, and I recommend if you go to feelingagood.com, it is Dr. Burns's website. There is a fantastic podcast. You know, I strongly recommend it. You know, that is something that you can. You know, the podcast is like 190 different episodes so far. They release them every Monday. So I will not take any more time because I think these people are more important, right? But I just wanted to give it a background why it is so important. So I would like to ask you guys, and it is so wonderful because I know some of these people before. So Trish and Greg, if you could speak about your experience, and if you could say a few words about yourselves and how it affected you, right? Sure. And how this worked in your relationship.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Trish. This is my husband, Greg. I've been living with, and I say we, actually, have been living with metastatic breast cancer now for 7 years this month, actually. I was diagnosed initially early stage, 8 years, so a year prior to that MBC diagnosis. And one of the major issues that we had to work through beyond the cancer experience was that I was 30 when I was diagnosed, initially 31 when I was MBC, and it kind of sidelined our plans to build a family, and that was a huge quality of life issue for us. So we had to really work together to consciously create what family was to us, and we now have a son who's 3 years old, and we had to have an egg donor and a surrogate in order to build that family. But it was something that we did not give up on, and it was, you know, that everyone has a different quality of life issue. It's probably not the same for everyone, obviously, in this room, but we had to own that that was a big issue for us, and that we weren't going to resign ourselves to not have that dream. And we filmed a documentary about about going on that journey to educate others about MBC and about infertility, and it's called Love Always Mom, and it's now on Amazon. So you'll see some of our relationship dynamics play out in that documentary.
Yeah, a lot of very personal ones.
For sure. And you'll see Greg sometimes say no, and me have to say, well, then when, right?
Yeah,
So that
quite
happens.
often.
Yeah, on camera. And I think the most important things for us and how things played out, what Dr. Wirga talks about with being intentional, with everything, with our communications, with what we really need from each other. That was really important throughout the whole process. I mean, in every relationship, regardless if you have cancer or infertility or whatever, that is the most important dynamic, I think. For us, I think it really helped. I started sending a weekly email almost to him of this is what I need, and this is our schedule, and questions that were still unanswered that I needed. I just think he needed that to wrap his head around certain things. He needed a little bit more and I don't want to speak for you, but like a little
Please
bit
do.
more quiet time to process what I needed.
Yeah.
And then we could talk about it.
Quiet time. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
And respecting that, I think the biggest thing for us as well is building a team, like a care team, a caregiving team. It's not, you can't just rely on one person for everything. And when I realized that, it really changed things for us, that I couldn't expect him to be going to all the appointments with me, to be everything in every way. You know, he came, but I also had to rely on friends and family to fill in the other roles that they actually might be better at than he was, per se, you know? So, well, you find.
It's true.
Yeah. And you have to own that. I think I was putting a lot on him in the beginning, and then realizing I have others who want to help us as well, and I need to lean on them for the role that they would be better at. So,
Yeah, that's very true. And also for the caregiver, you know, a lot of times so much of the focus is going on the patient, as it should be, and you have to step back and also realize that you yourself need to find your own outlets. And it took me a while to realize that. We were so thrown with everything that we were going through at the time, and I was so terrified for her that one of the big feelings you feel as a caregiver right away is that feeling of helplessness, where you want to do things, you feel like you're not doing enough. You know, what else can I do? What can I not do? And it causes a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety in yourself. And I always thought for a while, for the first couple of years, that if I, withdrew, or if I wanted to go away, or if I wanted to go do something and take care of myself, that I was letting her down in some respect. And I think the one thing I try to tell, and I see some men out there, we don't go and get help very often. I was raised in a Irish Italian household where you didn't talk about your emotions, about how you thought the dinner was, let alone how you, the sadness and hopelessness you're feeling dealing with someone you love going through disease. So it took a long time to face that. And I realized that, it's okay to go away. It's okay to go out for a week. It's okay, not a week, sorry. Yeah, it's okay to disappear for a month. No. But you want to go out and have some beers with your friends. You should feel you got to do that, because you got to keep your head clear. You got to be able to come back, because she's as strong as you are. And if you're not strong, then that chain starts to fall apart. So we talk a lot about patients having a support network, but the caregiver needs a support network too. That starts to build a chain, and the chains are much stronger when they're linked together. So. Well,
it's all self-care. I mean, everything you seen in the previous presentation, he was behind me being like, I really need to do that meditation. So the self-care is for the caregiver as much as it is the patient, because we need you to be there and present for us.
Yeah, it's very true. And the other thing that's very true is you're going to try to keep some sort of normalcy in your relationship. I mean, if you get a chance to watch our film on Amazon, you'll see we have these discussions about how are we still a married couple? How are we not a married couple with cancer, but we're still a married couple together. We're still doing things that we would have done if this never came into our lives. Because a lot of times that stuff gets pushed to the side. You stop doing date nights. You stop going out, and sometimes you just don't want to do it. You're just not. You don't feel that you need to, and so a lot of the effort was, how do we bring a sense of normalcy back into our lives?
How do we do the things that we loved doing before the diagnosis? When we were big into going out to restaurants and trying new food, going to concerts. It was just, we had to be very intentional about bringing those things back into our life. So that was very significant for me.
Yeah, it's a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of stuff that people don't really talk about, but the bedroom stuff as well. I mean, how do you keep that going? You don't want to completely abandon everything that you guys fell in love with when you first came together just because this awful thing has come into our lives. So we have to find ways to kind of keep that glue together. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, talking for you.
Oh, thanks.
I think one of the biggest things that he did for us, if I'd say, is to make me laugh every single day. I think laughter is huge for healing. It's huge for having a common ground and bringing us together. And we're going through such serious shit that we just sometimes need to take a step back and laugh. So I thank you for always making me laugh.
Thanks. I hope it was intentional laughter and not
Well,
unintentional.
both ways.
Well, yeah. Well, Sometimes that's funnier, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So we will ask Jonathan. Now we'll ask Jennifer and John to share their experiences.
Okay, I'm Jennifer. This is John, also known as Honey Bear. In case you didn't know that. Like he said, there's never a good time. And definitely for us, I'd say it wasn't a very good time. We had just gotten married and we're remodeling his bachelor pad that he lived in for how long? 20 years? 20. And never touched it. And he had been a bachelor for 55 years.
Hey, I cleaned some.
Yeah.
I touched it.
So 8 months into our marriage, I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. And I ended up having a fairly rough ride. So I feel as if we never really had a chance to know what it was like to be a married couple. Our entire relationship has really been around dealing with the cancer. But I feel there's two things that we've done that really have helped us, and I wanted to share with you those two things. And one is, I feel like we were very preventative as far as trying to prevent helping us through difficult situations, difficult conversations. And the second part is we're very proactive in that. And what I mean, I'll go ahead and explain, is preventatively, I think we do some special things in our relationship that really help us stay together, stay glued, and help us through these difficult situations and through some of the, I would say, catastrophes that I have had on this journey. One of the things that we do is we stay really focused on having fun together. We did dating, and we continue to do that. We don't stop. That didn't stop just like just because you have cancer, your marriage doesn't stop, your relationship doesn't stop. We also are really big on having family around, which they mentioned, but my kids are 23 to 28, and I have the world's most adorable grandson, by the way, if you want to know. He's 2 years old, and yes, he does have an agent in Hollywood. And so he entertains us quite a bit. I mean, he also exhausts us and fatigues us quite a bit, too. We do something else is we go out, we have a date night, but this is very set, and this helps me through the times when I don't feel like going. We go out on the 14th of every month because we were, of course, married on Valentine's Day. And we go to the restaurant, of course, that we met at because we're like really mushy, yucky type of couple.
We're lucky that there are how many rubies?
Yeah, we're very lucky
We've been to
that
every one
it's a
of them.
chain, so we can go to all different ones at different locations on different times. So, that is just something that's set in stone, and we do it. And there have been times when I felt so horrible. But we do have one Ruby's that's 5 minutes right from the house, so that's helped quite
It's
a bit.
our regular spot.
Yeah, and they have such good onion rings, so if you guys want to know where to go. Humor, they talked about humor. We do try to keep humor, but he's got what I call dad humor, so sometimes I'm like, really?
Gotta keep it clean.
Seriously?
Our dogs are a great source of humor.
Yeah,
Our dogs and our grandchildren.
they're really cute, huh? So we also travel. I don't know how you guys do, but it's hard. I know it's hard to travel, but we've made that a priority to plan trips. And this is probably our first year that we don't have a major trip, and that is because I had 6 months of hell that I just came out of. This is why I have the beautiful pink fuzz up on top. I wanted to talk about being proactive. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. I skipped two things. Self-care. They talked about self-care. We put a lot of energy also into self-care in the sense that he really loves music. He loves recording. So he actually has a whole music room in our house. 22 to 25 guitars, last count. those could be a lot of trips we could take, right? Wait, drum set, keyboard, mandolin, so much recording equipment. Anyway, we, give him that so he has a place to escape to have his little time off and to recharge himself. And then I have an area in our house. We turned our living room into my painting studio. And just it's up all the time. Yes, people walk into my house and it looks like a disaster, but I really don't care. It allows me...
Yes, you do. It's a beautiful setup, though.
Okay. It allows me just to walk over and start painting if I want to. And I really think, I know right now my oncologist, the first question he asks me every time I come in, he doesn't say like, hey, how are you doing? Or, what's going on? He goes, did you paint anything this week? Because that's a great predictor of my mood, if I'm going to be happy or not. One serious thing that we do that for us really helps with preventative of really difficult situations and conversations is our faith. We have a strong foundation in faith, and that allows us to go really deep, to really be comfortable with some of those awkward questions about, what's going to happen? What are you going to do when there's only maybe one of you left here? That gives us that really strong foundation to pull upon and to help us through that. I forgot one thing. I bet you guys can't guess this one. We also talk a lot. If you can't tell from the way I am.
This is the most quiet I've been.
I know it is. So I know that sounds silly to bring that up, but talking a lot, like practice talking with your partner if you don't already, about the simplest things, and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. Because if you do, then when it comes time to talk about the serious things, you're already comfortable with that. You're already comfortable with opening up dialogue about anything. And I make sure to talk to him about my boring day, but in an exciting way every time I see him, so that we keep those lines of communication open. When the second part of what we do is I call proactive, and that is when we have very serious problems or issues, which we did have a crisis. We've had 2 crises. Yeah. Okay. You mean this year? Okay. So we had like 2 major crises this year, which left us both probably angry, scared, and grieving. And while we have all these other mechanisms to kind of help us get through the day in, day out, this was a lot harder. These were very serious things where I almost died. And we needed help with that. So when I say proactive is we are willing to do what it takes, and that is to go see a therapist. I see one on my own, and we see one together. And it's just something that we had to do. We weren't able to get past what happened to me without that extra help. So I really can't emphasize enough that there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. It's been wonderful for us and really helpful.
I never thought I'd be the kind of person that would go to therapy. But once you get these things out in front of a third party, a neutral third party, it just dissipates into, oh, all right, we can deal with this. And it's so beneficial. So,
absolutely. I think right now there's only way we could travel where we've been. One other thing that actually brought me even here, and as I look out, I see people that I know, is my support group. So if you're not plugged into a metastatic breast cancer support group, try and find one, seek one out, or come join ours. It has been a lifesaver for me in so many ways. To have other women walking through the exact same thing that I am makes it more normal. and allows me to live a life that I was meant to live.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Zomorodian. I was diagnosed in October of 16. I feel like I have to defend my husband because he's not up here. My husband is an incredible man. He's very supportive, but he is a type A workaholic. And he always wants to fix things. You know, everything has to be fixed and he's going to take care of everything. So I have been extremely fortunate to be friends with Melanie here. We're going on 10 years now.
Yep.
And Melanie, I can't even tell you, she might make me cry, but I could not. I'm going to make you cry too.
We do this a lot together.
Yeah, we do. I could not have gotten through this without her. She is an incredible buffer between my disease and the family. She comes to with me to a lot of my appointments. My very first appointment after my PET scan, she came with me, and my husband came with me. After the appointment was over, he handed you how my husband hands her.
He hands me money.
It says, "Why don't you guys go get a drink and have dinner?"
Yeah, I'm done. I can't do any more today.
I can't, yeah.
He can just shoot us off.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I do. She and I process things. And then I can go home to my family when I am more put together, I guess is a better way to say. And then I can take care of them falling apart, basically. That's just, it's been invaluable, and it's something that works for me. And I'm not saying that it works for everybody, but if you can have a friend to go with you, I just find it's invaluable for me. She asks questions I forget to ask frequently.
I listen.
Yeah, that's the best part. Well, I'm going, no.
We
She
often
listens.
have to rediscuss what went on during the appointments because she goes in prepared to hear the worst. So she hears the worst, and then I have to let her know that's not what was said.
Yeah, very frequently I'll go, he said, da-da, and she goes, no, we didn't. Then we have to reformat everything. She also is really great in letting me vent. She just lets me go off on my little dramas every time. I don't know about you guys, but right before I have my PET CT, I'm sure I'm going to die. I'm sure that I have mets, head to toe, and I'm only going to live another month.
I anticipate her anxiety, absolutely.
And reminds me that I do this every month, every scan.
I also tell her it's okay to do that.
Yeah, she gives me permission to be crazy. The other thing I love about her is she teases me all the time and doesn't treat me like I'm sick. I have a horrible kind of gallows humor, so I'm going to apologize if this offends anyone, but we were at Marshall's, and we were at separate cash registers, and I have the TJ Maxx card, right? And I'm paying, and the woman is trying desperately to get her to get this TJ Maxx card. Well, why don't you have a TJ Maxx card? It's really great. You can save money. The lady just wouldn't stop. And the lady goes to her, well, why don't you want to be like your friend? And she says,
I don't want cancer.
So there's quite a few of those. She's just really amazing, and I'm really, really fortunate. Yeah, she's a great friend to have, guys. I'm just saying. So I would also suggest that if cultivate some of your friends. If you have friends that you trust and feel like you can share things with, give your family a break sometimes of going to these appointments with you if you're comfortable. It's just been really a great benefit for me. The other thing is I feel like it's less fatiguing on my family and on Melanie, because Melanie doesn't live with me every day, 24/7. So she gets a break from me and she can kind of recharge. And when I dump on her, I'm not dumping on my family. So that gives my family a little bit of a break. So I would definitely advocate finding a friend. Do you have anything exciting you want to say?
Well, let's talk about self-care. We travel and we have fun together.
We do. We travel a lot, and people always ask me how nice it is that my daughter travels with me.
There's only a few years between us, but it's a running joke all the time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I think you're very helpful and solicitous. She makes sure that I'm not overdoing it and not doing things that are inappropriate. When I go to take 6 suitcases. She goes, okay, you can only take one. But we get that a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see, the other only thing is back to what Jen said about support groups. I'm going to just throw out a couple of things. Mission Hospital has a really good one that a lot of our friends are here. Jenny's here and Kat's here. I mean, it's on every other or Tuesday, the first and second Tuesday of the month at the Cancer Center at 11:30. I just read that Hoag has a metastatic breast cancer, and Shannon and I, where's Shannon? Shannon's in the back there, organize the Metavivor group where we meet usually around the 20th. So, you can find me on the Metavivor website for the support group. But reach out, because there's something amazing about the shorthand, about being in a group of people with metastatic breast cancer. I mean, they just get it. You don't have to explain anything. The jokes are always gotten. They don't fall flat. So I would highly recommend doing that. That's about all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is so heartwarming, and there is no professional who could explain those things so well as you did. So thank you very much, and for the courage and clear love. You see, I said that relationships are so difficult, but I wanted to say, come on. Humans did relationships as long as we have humans on this planet, right? So important thing, don't give up. Keep on doing it, and you will learn how to do it better. So we will take 3 questions. I don't know. Should I throw this? Thank you.
I thought she was going to throw it.
I have a question for anybody that can answer. How do you, without offending, or maybe a little offending would be appropriate, to somebody that tries to bombard you with emails, suggestions on, oh, eat this food, it's going to cure you from everything, because they do that, my in-laws do that to my mother.
My favorite thing is, thank you very much, but I'm listening to my oncologist. I think he knows more than you, but say it nicely.
I was going to say, I say thank you very much. I'll definitely look into that, and I appreciate your love and care.
Oh, you're nicer than me.
I'll speak to this. Was an ongoing and still is ongoing issue for me. My mother will just read everything and constantly message me about stuff, and it's really hard because she's also a caregiver. So, and obviously very close. We're obviously very close. So I think I also had to give her space and room to realize that this is how she personally was grieving. So I guess it depends on who's asking you these questions. And I would politely decline and say, this is why I've already learned about that, this is why I've chosen to do this or not done that or blah, blah, blah. And then finally, eventually, I just could not take it anymore. And I just had to tell her how it was making me feel, because nobody can argue with how you feel. So I would just say, look, every single time you're telling me yada, 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 like, I know all of this stuff. I have my resources. I really appreciate that you're looking out for me, but I am an adult. I'm going to take care of me. I'll let you know when I need something. And you're making me feel responsible for causing my illness. I basically had to lay that in line in the sand. And say, and I basically started bawling, and you know how hard it is to feel responsible for it, and I'm not responsible. I did not cause this. So there we go. So that kind of quieted her.
Okay, we have another question over here.
Oh, thank you very much for this answer. So that is absolutely important question. We recommend for patients to have an information quarterback or a clearinghouser, right? So all the information, please send to this person. And
they can delete it.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
No, so identify someone in your relationships who can do that for you. So.
Okay, here we go, another question.
Just a real quick one. The couple in the middle, you said you had a metastatic breast cancer. What city is that in? Your group.
It's the same
You're in the same
group.
group? We're in the same group.
Yeah, Mission Viejo
Mission
and
Viejo.
Irvine
Yeah,
as
Mission
well.
Viejo.
And then Hoag.
I live in Huntington, so nothing up that way.
No, but you know what? We've got
like to
I
get
think
in
there
one.
is.
we
We
have
meet
two
in
people.
Irvine once a month.
And there are two
Irvine's
people.
too far?
from Huntington, who
ride?
would probably carpool with you.
Okay, another one.
Trish and Greg Russo, could you please tell us again, what was the name of the Amazon?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's called Love Always Mom. It was basically, we started filming it maybe a year into my metastatic diagnosis. And basically it was, we didn't know if we were going to be filming a story about dying from metastatic breast cancer or building our family, because how the heck do you know, right? So the title was basically, the film was a love letter to my unborn child. So Love Always Mom is signing off the letter.
And she's not going to tell you this, but I will, because she's humble. I'll tell you that it's won many, many awards so far. So I'm really proud of her for all that she did.
Yes, it has.
And we can take one more question, is that right? Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Are we good? I'm ready to go. And escape.
Sorry, just a couple of quick announcements, but Sandy's up. I was told to let you know that we have a really awesome photo booth, which is a little bit hard to find. It's down the hall this way, so just take a look at it. It'd be really cool. Take some pictures, have some fun, before you leave. And then also, as you can see, there's a ton of food left, so they have put out some to-go boxes. So please take stuff with you, share with your family, enjoy the food.
All right, so here we are near the end of our second annual NBC conference in Orange County, and I want to thank everybody for remaining here. I want to thank this excellent panel. I think they were awesome. And I know it's very hard to concentrate and stay alert during this time of day. This is normally when I take a nap. My cats insist on it. At the beginning of the day, I asked you if you'd be willing to write down some to-dos, and I think I have 6 pages of to-dos. One of them is to talk to Trish and Greg about perhaps having a showing of Love Always Mom for our community, maybe here at UCI. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, Trish is great. But it's such a great film to watch with friends and others in the metastatic breast cancer community. She showed it at a meeting that I had attended, and it's just an amazing film, and it's more amazing when you're with other people, I think. Does anybody have any to-dos that you'd like to talk about that you want to take back with you? Just shout them out. Any to-dos? What was that? There are no to-dos. None. All right. Well, so hopefully you have some, and you just want to go home, and that's what's going on here. All right. Oh, you have one. Yes. Okay, get involved in more of social media, including the Facebook. Yeah, there's a closed metastatic breast cancer group. There's Thriving with Metastatic Breast Cancer. There's Knowledge is Power. There's a bunch of Facebook groups. And also on Monday at 6 o'clock at night, there's a breast cancer social media Twitter group. And that happens at 6 every Monday night, 6 p.m. And you can participate by hashtag BCSMs for breast cancer social media. All right. One of the things that I hope you've discovered is the importance of being part of a community. And Orange County Komen wants to make sure that we further establish the needs of the community. So I want to make sure that you finish your evaluation. And you can put them on the back table. You can keep them on your table. You can do whatever, but don't take them home with you blank. We want to have you at least fill out something. It would be wonderful. Because we really need you to do our programming. And as we continue to strengthen our local community, I hope you might consider getting more involved. And what do I mean by that? It's by attending meetings like this, just like today. You might want to volunteer to be on a committee to design or deliver upcoming programs. And if you do, please contact the Orange County staff or write it on your evaluation. You might want to also have an idea or a location for a social gathering or educational meeting for our community. And we'd love to hear from you about that. There's many ways to get involved, but remember, your health and well-being comes first. And we realize that sometimes you get involved in something, you might have to stop for a little bit because you're going through something. We realize that. So don't think that you're letting anybody down if you start and can't finish. I'd like to thank everyone who's made the program a success, the planning committee, the presenters, the volunteers, the UCI team, and you, the participants. I want to thank Pfizer for doing the Ibrance videos. If you have not gone, they're going to be here till about 4. So please go and talk to them about videotaping your experience with cancer or the experience you don't want to have with it. I wanted to especially thank the Orange County Komen Mission team for their hard work and dedication in helping shape the programming for our community. And a special thank you to Devin Lawson for serving as our esteemed MC today, and Dr. Soloff from coming all the way from Pittsburgh to share his experience as a keynote speaker. And now, before we end, we will all need to do the secret metastatic breast cancer community handshake. And I'll show you what that is. You have to follow my lead. So I'm here with Megan. So this is what it is. I care about you. I'm there for you. I thrive with you. And love you. So stand up and get a partner, and we're going to do this together. This is the secret metastatic breast cancer. All right. All right, so here we go. I care for you. I'm there for you. I thrive with you. And, oh, I care for you. All right. We are going to do the raffle real quick, and what we want to do is figure out who gets the wonderful head to toe spa treatment plus lunch. Okay, so if you have a ticket, get it out now. And please don't leave me hanging like you did last year. Someone's got to have this ticket. Okay. 7, 4, 9, 8, 5, 1. Yay! Oh, look! It's Shannon!
We have one more.
Okay, we have one more.
One more.
All right. 749. Okay, you're all in it so far. 903. 903. Okay? Going. 903. Going, gone. All right. How about this one? 749, 889. 889. Going, gone. All right. Oh, that was somebody? 889. 749, 889. Not it? Okay. 749, 897. No! Oh. Yay! Come and get your prize. All right, so that's great. Okay, so safe travels. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you next year and at our next event. Thank you.